Hey, good morning. Welcome to Sojourn Grace Collective's virtual live church.
For year 2.
Yeah.
Jeez. How sad is
Year
that?
2 has begun.
Which does not mean that we're going to do this for another year, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I actually intentionally muted the back row.
Oh.
Just because this can pick up all our talking and that makes a weird sort of delay echoey. I don't know. Here's actually how we were going to start, is by pointing out just how far we've come, and yet we haven't come all that far also. So here, this 1 year ago, this week, was our very first live stream.
Wow.
So this was how it started.
Okay, first of all, so glad you shaved that thing.
Yeah, I had
That monstrosity that used to live on your face.
So something like still have the fireplace. That's great. Still have the Sojourn wood sign, even though we've been meaning to update and replace that. But this setup was just a single camera on, like,
Whoa.
oh, this is the wider shot. This was.
See, I wish they could know how amazing this is, because we all go, oh my God, but like they only see us anyway,
Yeah.
not everything that's happening.
Well, that's what the
here.
next.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
the
you're
next
getting
slide
there.
was for.
Cool.
Yeah. So then the next slide shows that this was.
Our
This
whole
was sort of
setup.
the behind the scenes. You can see in the middle there just one single camera, and then we had these gooseneck lamps that were like, we needed to get a little bit of light going on, and that was our first Sunday. And then I think the second Sunday was this moment where we had this blanket or towel taped to this sunlight here, and halfway through the service it fell
Quarantine
down.
memories.
And anyway, we're
That's
here we are now a year later, and you're here. Many of you have found us during this time.
But they still can't see everything that's happening.
Oh,
right
that's true.
now.
We don't have a BTS
I
of this
wish-
moment. I kind of.
I'll post one later.
That's a good idea.
I'll just say it this way. It's intense.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Um,
But I don't know. I guess part of me doing. Oh, and I was also going to say that very first Sunday I was watching it back this morning. Very first Sunday live stream. The countdown finishes, and it went to that shot that you saw of just me and Kate standing there, and I say hi, and I'm like, "Hey, good morning." Like, wow, this is wild that we are sort of canceled our service, and for for
were
a
all
few weeks
shocked.
we're going to meet like this, and then it goes to Kate.
my
And her mic wasn't on. And I'm like, y'all, we haven't really come that far. Some things haven't changed. We still find ourselves constantly surprised at which
crap, the
microphones are on
sound's
and which
not
ones
on.
are not on.
It's just
So
how we do.
we've come a long way, and we've also not come very far at all.
But we're here.
We're here.
And we love you.
Because we do love you,
Cheers.
and our mission is wholeness, and we're going to keep fostering that, whether it's IRL or digital. We're here for you, and we're glad you're here. So we're going to do a few songs like we do. We got a spiritual nugget. We got collective conversation coming up. Kate's going to do a kids corner. So anyway, glad you're here. Welcome to Sojo.
Emotional wholeness. What? Yeah. I was late to the thing. I only got the 2.
There is a shadow in the hallway, trying to frighten you. Don't let the darkness surround you. You can make it through. Don't you give up on the kingdom. I think it's crashing in. No, it ain't worth all the worry. They'll still let you in. Someday soon these worries roll on. Someday soon enough. Sometimes the weight of decisions try and bury you. Don't let the shame tell you something that you know ain't true. And just 'cause you feel like a stranger, that don't mean you are. God, I could use a reminder of what forgiveness is for. Someday soon these worries roll on. Someday soon enough. Sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say amen. Ooh, amen. Ooh, amen. Someday soon these worries roll on. Someday soon enough. Oh, I said someday soon these worries roll on. Oh, and someday soon enough. Sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say amen. Sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say amen.
Thanks. Yeah, we're going to keep going. We're tired, y'all. This whole daylight saving thing, it's a trick. Time's not real. So maybe if we all just decide that we're not going to buy into this thing anymore, maybe we can turn the tide. I don't know. This is my motivational spiritual message for this morning. Let's not do this anymore.
To all who are looking down, holding on to hearts still wounding. For those who've yet to find it, the place is near where love is moving. Cast off the robes you're wearing, set aside the names that you've been given, and may this place of rest in the fold of your journey bind you to hope. You will never walk alone in the shelter of each other. With and the tears aren't ours alone. Let them fall into the hands that hold us. Come away from where you're hiding. Set aside the lies that you've been living. May this place of rest in the fold of your journey bind you to hope. You never walk alone in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live. If there is any peace, if there is any hope, we must all believe our lives are not our own. We all belong. God has given us each other. We will never walk alone in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will live in the shelter of each other. We will live, we will Not good at spinny chairs. Not good.
It's nice to not hold a microphone.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's really nice.
Y'all, a lot of the things we do to fix and make better feel like air quote fix and makes better to me.
Fix
but
and
the
make
not
harder.
having to wear
right here.
I know. But the not having to wear a microphone, that's real nice.
So nice. This is really nice.
we fixed that. That's a real fix.
And made it better.
Hey, you want to talk to the people?
Sure. I love the people.
Sweet. Yeah, let's do it.
Just about anything, or you want to pick something specific?
We're going to pick from
Cool,
a
great.
random box like we do. They might be dumb questions. Oh, we got a new box of questions in the mail. Nan sent us a new box, and I
Man.
forgot to bring it this morning. And I looked through them, and they're real good. So
Thanks for
which I'm
fixing
not
and
supposed
making
to look.
better.
They're supposed to be secret, but I wanted to see
Some
what they were like.
of those were not
Super
good.
secret question. I'm on Facebook. Do we have YouTube somewhere? So
I got
we can
YouTube.
see it? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Oh, and
Cool.
we can see
and
them
we have it
there
right
now.
there now. We just realized
True.
we have
Fixed
it
and
right
made
there.
better.
Some things.
Hey, real fix. Okay, ready?
Real fix. I'm gonna start categorizing my fixes. Air quote fix or real fix?
I feel like we might have done this one before. Maybe it was like a different version of this question.
What is your most unusual talent? We've done a version of this.
Did
but
that
not-
feel familiar?
Well, but this,
not exactly that.
I feel like I'd like to know the answer to this.
Okay,
question.
cool. I like it.
What is your most unusual talent?
I don't have any unusual
I
talents.
can do this.
I don't even have usual talents. That's talented.
And like,
Those talents are just
can you
genes.
do this?
Wait, is there a difference?
I don't know. That's all I got. I'm doing stupid human tricks because what else are we gonna do?
What else are we gonna do?
Headstands to music. That's cool. What does that mean, Patty? Like you can only do headstands when music is playing?
Ooh.
Or like you do them
I
in
wanna see
time with the
this.
music? Can you send a video, please? Thanks.
Steven. I'm ridiculously flexible, says Alexa. How flexible? I want to see. I can't see you. I wish I could see you all. We've had a few times where we've told people that we really miss them, and they're like, "Oh, we don't miss you. We see you every Sunday."
That's fair.
Cracks me
You
up.
see us so much.
I can play Jesus Loves Me on my nose.
That's amazing.
How does that work?
I don't know. I really want to know.
Steven can make balloon animals and I can make balloon animals, so hire us for your birthday parties because we're gonna make that happen. Is that what we do now? Steven, you wanna work together with me? Great.
Robert can do over 20 different accents. Can you do them well?
Bite a straw into a spiral that looks like a spring?
Wait, what? You can make a very tiny rainbow cape for a very tiny cow?
Mostly I feel confused
These are
and slightly
unusual
alarmed by
talents.
these unusual
Really
talents.
unusual.
Blowing bubbles.
Loud clicking sound with my serpent-like tongue. These are
We can smell things with our eyes.
real fun. Y'all are cute. We can smell things with our eyes. Boys can't, turns out.
Turns out. Did you know that, Jazz?
I
Did you know
love
that
that.
only girls can smell things with their eyes? This is what we learned.
I can't think of a single thing that I do that could even remotely be considered a talent that would also be considered unusual.
You can get stuck things open.
Oh, that's true.
And,
I
like,
am really good at
You're
that.
very good at that.
Like things out or stuck or twisted or like I'm just always like, get to me. And people probably think I'm being really aggressive, but then when they see how fat, like the first time I did it to you, you're probably like, whoa, she's taking this. And then I got it out really fast, and now she just goes like this. Here.
I don't have any feelings of preciousness
Take
around
it.
my like stuck things that I can't open. I'm very
I like
happy
getting
to give
stuck
those to
things
you.
unstuck.
Getting stuck things. Oh, metaphorically and literally.
Aww.
Oh, it's nice.
I don't know. People, y'all are cute. Eliza says she can sing a song without opening her mouth. Don't tell her that's coming. Sorry, I read that out loud. But
Maybe it's ventriloquism though, because
yeah. Ooh, yeah.
that's really unusual and cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Really good at starting plants from cuttings. Not sure that's unusual. I'm not sure if it is either, but I love that, Kate, and me too.
I think it's unusual.
I like it.
I think the vast majority of folks are not great at that or don't know how.
Teaching yoga to kids, it's a little bit like herding kittens. Rollerblading in my pink Speedo.
You do you, boo.
I love you.
Which part of that's the talent?
All of it. The whole thing.
And is it
talent.
unusual? I don't know.
Talent. First, having the
Y'all are
wherewithal and guts to
cute.
purchase the pink Speedo is where the talent begins. Then you have it, then like getting into it, putting it on, then going outside in it, then
Also, I like
rollerblading in
this
it. All of these
emoji.
things talent.
You went ahead and found a pink bikini emoji. for
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing.
That's nice. Way to go the extra mile, Tony. Way to do it. Anything else on this subject? We good?
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Oops.
That's the same one. Your unusual
Me and
talent
my system.
is your card system. It's really good.
How funny.
What is the most awkward thing that happens to you on a regular basis?
I like this question. I like this question a lot.
For me, it's being told how tall I am all the time.
That's so awkward.
You're tall. Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you. Do you play basketball? No, I don't. Glad we had this conversation for the 9,000th
Glad you
time.
thought that maybe I'd never had this conversation before.
Sometimes I act really surprised. I am? Oh my God.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
fun.
I don't love that, but
Happens so much more often than you'd think.
do y'all like that for our 1 year of being in quarantine, I washed my hair and then did nothing to it?
It's
So I've
nice,
just
though.
got freshly washed hair today. I felt like it was representative of people are still sharing their unusual talents. I love it.
Super Smash Brothers on N64.
Oh my gosh.
I wanna play.
Mike said in response to this question, people talking to me. An awkward thing.
Just
that
like
happens to
random
you on a
strangers
regular
talking
basis.
to you. Yes.
People talking to me. Oh my gosh. Y'all are cute.
Social interaction is an awkward thing that happens to you. Oh, mercy. You're my soulmate.
Oh, Kelly, you're my soulmate. I walk into doorways in my house like once a week. I think I probably do it every day.
I hit my knuckles on things all the time, just like beating the furniture constantly.
I pick things up and they jump out of my hand and fall really far away.
That's where Zeke gets that.
That's true. It happens to Zeke too. Oh, my poor baby. He got that gene. Apparently, it's a gene.
Robert says people asking me things at work that I could not possibly know the answer to. It's nice that they think you're a person who would know. That's nice. Like you've got a face that says I know things.
An all-knowing face.
That's great. That's a nice quality, I suppose, until you actually are responsible for knowing things, and then it's less fun.
Oh, whoa. Jesse said, same as Karen, random people asking me at the grocery store to get things down for them.
All
you
the
want to
time.
know what's funny is my first reaction to that was, Jesse's tall? Because I don't know if you're tall because I've never met you.
I do because I've watched his post-apocalyptic zombie music video.
And you could tell he was tall?
Oh yeah, I can tell tall.
Oh, okay.
I can tell
Interesting.
tall. From
You're like, I
a
can see
long-
tall
yeah,
from a mile
listen.
away.
I'm never going to be surprised by tall because too many people are surprised by my tall.
Oh, I forgot to mention I'm 6'5". Okay, this is funny. This is one of those hilarious, like, quarantine experiences. Thought you were short. Don't know why I thought you were short.
like an inch tall. That's all we've ever seen.
You're this big. Just a little avatar on the screen.
My foot falls asleep, and then I stand up and I lose my flip-flop because I can't feel it. That's awkward. Do you get the awful thing where like your foot falls asleep and you stand up and you think you're fine, and then all of a sudden you have the world's most unbearable pain situation happening and you have to like stop moving for a little while until it passes? Is that an experience that other people have, or is that just me?
I don't know, but I like the interaction that just happened on YouTube. Jimmy said, LOL, when people assume I'm straight, and then Camille said, ditto, Jimmy, plus assuming my spouse is male. Yeah.
Oof, yeah.
Yep. Awkward assumptions in our
Ooh.
culture.
Amanda and Jesse and I are apparently starting a podcast called Tall Talk.
Tall time.
First episode, the tall girl triple glance, where they look at you, then they look down at your shoes, then they look at you again. Just to make sure, to see if you're wearing really high heels,
Oh.
because that you need an
Is
excuse
this an
to be as
artificial
tall
height?
as you are.
Okay,
So you-
related is Kate. People who have red hair have this problem too. People have a lot of questions about my hair and tell me about their aunt, cousin, neighbor that also has red hair.
My word.
I too know a redhead.
Y'all, why are we so awkward? Why?
People are really weird. This is
Why do we say things to each other?
this is one of the controversial things I enjoy about 2020/early 2021 is fewer of these awkward encounters, and I miss them sort of at the same time. Both and. It's complicated.
Oh, man.
Well,
Oh, Lisa says to Jesse, I told you this was worth mentioning. Yeah, my mind is blown by you being tall, Jesse. Like, I don't know why, but it's this strange experience of I never thought about you being tall, and now I am thinking about it for whatever reason.
For when Jesse joins the worship grant. I'm sure they're playing keys like
I'm not mad. Come on over. I like being the short one.
Colby. People do randomly walk up to Colby all the time and ask, has anyone ever told you look like Bradley Cooper? And he's like, only twice today. It's so weird. And you don't even look like Bradley Cooper, but everybody wants to tell you 10 times a day.
Did for a while there, and then when I got my beard, it changed to Bryce Harper.
Is that baseball player?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
don't know
We
who
were at
Bryce
Disneyland
Harper is.
a couple years ago, and people were coming up to you and thinking you were Bryce Harper.
Should have signed some autographs.
Really?
Holly says they're
Run
more
with it.
awkward in England.
People?
Mm-hmm.
People
Or
like
even more awkward in England.
British people are more awkward?
I like
That's
it.
great. Perfect. My people. All right. Well, are we awkwardly done here? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Or are we?
This
okay.
is our
We're
awkward
just,
transition.
We're just
I
sitting
just
here.
don't know how to transition out of this.
conversations, accidents and accusations, messages and misperceptions paralyze my mind. Buses, cars, and airplanes leaving, burning fumes of gasoline. Everyone is running, and I come to find a refuge in me. The silence that you make for me. It's okay when there's nothing more to say to me. In the peaceful quiet you create for me, and the way you keep the world at bay for me, the way you keep the world at bay. Monkeys on the barricades, warning us to back away. They form commissions, try to find the next one they can crucify. But anger plays on every station, answers only make more questions. I need something to believe in, breathing sanctuary in the easy silence that you make for me. It's okay when there's nothing more to say to me. In the peaceful quiet you create for me, and the way you keep the world at bay for me, the way you keep the world at bay. Children lose their youth too soon. Watching war made us immune. I got all the world to lose. I just wanna hold on to the easy silence that you make for me. It's okay when there's nothing more to say to me. In the peaceful quiet you create for me, and the way you keep the world at bay for me, the easy silence that you make for me. It's okay when there's nothing more to say to me. In the peaceful quiet you create for me, and the way you keep the world at bay for me, the way you keep the world at bay for me, the way you keep the world at bay.
Good morning. Me too, baby. It's so good to be here with you this morning. I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of feeling good. Did you know that it matters how you feel? Has anyone ever told you that before? It matters how you feel. And we feel all kinds of things, don't we? We feel a world of feelings in our life, and they all matter and they all belong. And one thing that we can feel is we can feel good. And I want to talk to you today about the importance of feeling good. It matters that you feel good. It's important to feel good. It's so important that some people might say it like this: God cares about you feeling good. It makes God happy when you feel good. Or you might just say it like this: to feel good makes you feel grounded and connected and loved. So today, to talk about how important it is to feel good, I wanted to read you a book by one of my favorite humans in the world, Todd Parr. This is The Feel Good Book by Todd Parr. And it's a very loved book in our house. You can see by all the creases and crinkles and dog ear flips. We love this book. So this whole book is just a list of things that can make a person feel good. And so I'm wondering if you would spend some time today as we read through Todd's list of things that can make a person feel good. If you could just make your own list in your head, think about what makes you feel good. And to remember, like I said, that it's important, that it matters, that it's a spiritual practice, it's a soul care practice. It makes you feel grounded and connected and like you belong and are cared about. And it's important. We can take time out to be intentional. That means on purpose, right? We can feel good on purpose. And that matters, and it's a practice. All right? So this is the Feel Good Book. We're just going to make a list of things that make us feel good. Giving a great big hug feels good. Eating carrots with a bunny feels good. Getting tickled feels good for some people. Remember, this is Todd's list. What's your list, right? In our house, we have a lot of kids who like to be tickled. They beg. Feels good. Taking a bubble bath feels good. Showing the new kid around feels good. Rubbing noses feels good. Visiting a sick friend feels good. Crying when you're sad feels good. Laughing out loud feels good. Brushing your hair with a lion feels good. Catching snowflakes on your tongue feels good. Reading a book under a tree feels good. That's on my list. Watching your grandma and grandpa dance feels good. Having a ladybug land on your hands feels good. That's on my list too. Sharing your treats feels good. Waiting for the tooth fairy feels good. Saying I love you in sign language feels good. Playing under the sprinkler feels good. Making a new friend feels good. Making sounds like a monkey feels good. That felt good. Seeing fireflies outside your window feels good. That's on my list too. Letting a kitten lick your fingers feels good. I do this every day because it feels good and it's important to me. Brushing your teeth with strawberry toothpaste feels good. Learning how to count to 8 with a spider feels good. Giving somebody something special feels good. Whispering in someone's ear feels good. Being brave feels good. Taking a nap with a giant stuffed animal feels good. Being together feels good. It feels good to think about all the things that make you feel good. Rubbing my dog's tummy makes me feel good, and him too. What things make you feel good? Love, Todd. What things make you feel good? I'm hoping that this week you can think about that really intentionally and practice feeling good and remember how important that is. Love you all.
Make monkey sounds on a church live stream makes me feel good.
Yeah, and singing songs makes me feel good.
Sometimes.
Still have some questions about the spider, but
Sparkly shirts make you feel good.
sparkly shirts do make me feel good. Being in tune makes me feel good.
You guys can't see it, but wearing my tracksuit pants and my moccasins to church makes me feel good.
Yeah. Don't cry, you're mine for forever, for forever. I need you now more than ever, more than ever. Head full of lies, sun in my eyes, you make it easy. Don't look away, these are the days you gotta believe me. When we're lost in a desert night. chasing a paradise. When we can't fight another fight, we're gonna make it. My away, away, oasis. My away, away, oasis. This life is made for each other, for each other. Cross lines, mistakes. There's no other head full of lies. Sun in my eyes, you make it easy. Nowhere to go, I'm already home. You gotta believe me. Lost in a desert night, and we're chasing our paradise. When we can't fight another fight, we're gonna make it. You're my away, away, oasis. You're my away, away, oasis. You're my away, away, oasis. My away, away, oasis. As I roam through the wasteland, you're the one thing I need. To see you off in the distance, you're my oasis. You're my away, away, oasis. My away, away, oasis. When we're lost in the desert night, and we're chasing our paradise. When we can't find another fight, we're gonna make it, make it, make it, make it. Lost in the desert night, and we're chasing our paradise. When we can't find another fight, we're gonna make it. You're my away, away, oasis. You're my away, away, oasis. You're my away, away, oasis. You're my away, away, oasis.
Oh, hi. I was not there yet, but I'm here now. Spinny chairs, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Extra credit if you know what theme song that was. Hi. Ugh, good gravy. Just trying to get this chair in a place that I am happy with. Good morning. Hi, Pastor Colby here, and we're going to continue our series on soul practice care connection. So, soul practice care connection. What was that? I don't know. I guess I just wanted to start by saying we took a brief but important interruption last week to the series that we've been on because last week was our 7-year anniversary as a church. And so it was a really fun time to hear from many of you about how this church has made a difference in your life. Specifically, we had a segment on how virtual church has made a difference, and many of you are here today because we went virtual. So last week was a fun time to sort of just pause and reflect on that. But then today we're going to jump back into this series that we've been in around practices for the care of the soul. Now, my spiritual nugget today, I hope, will be helpful for us as we continue this ongoing work together as a community about wholeness in our lives. And also, I need to name that I'm conscious of how, I don't know, maybe there's a sensitive nature of the topic that I'm about to talk about, seeing as how this week has marked 1 year of this global pandemic that we've been a part of. So I'm aware of that. And the thing is because I'm going to talk about connection this morning is the practice I want to explore with you. So I get how it is maybe a bit ironic or strangely timed, I guess, to talk about connection on this 1 year since the world kind of, or at least America sort of shut down. I just want you to know right off the bat that I know that some of you have only barely even left your house in a year. Or maybe There are those of you who haven't been in any social situation with like a person in real flesh and blood for like a year now. There are those who haven't hugged a friend or even high-fived a stranger. This past year has been, for all sorts of reasons, a very challenging year. And the toll of isolation and loneliness is both heavy and hard. I just want to name that right off the bat as I talk about connection this morning. To those of you who live alone, or those of you who've been unable to travel or spend time with more than maybe just a couple of people, I want to say I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does. And I hope that better days are ahead of us. So in that spirit, as I talk here briefly about this idea of connection, this practice of connection, I do hope that my words land not in a salt in the wound sort of way, as in, like, I hope it's not like, seriously, Colby, we haven't been able to connect with people for like a long time now. So why are you talking about the importance of the practice of connection? I mean, you might as well just travel to Nebraska and tell people about the benefits of swimming in the ocean. Like, cool story and all, but can we talk about something else, maybe? So I hope that's not the impact of my spiritual nugget. Instead, I hope that it either A, maybe helps us be like, oh, okay, that's why this year's been so hard. That makes sense. Maybe I can help normalize this experience for you, I guess, so that you can trust that this past year, it's not that it's been hard because you've been doing it wrong. It's been hard because, well, we're being asked to live in a way that is diametrically opposed to the frequencies of our soul. So it is just hard. Or maybe too, my nugget today can help kickstart ways for us to imagine how we might still find and foster and practice connection even in our current context. Because I would argue it is so vital to the well-being of our souls. So before I go any further, why don't you just take a deep breath in with me and out. One more in and out. I'll start like this. Here's a definition of connection that I really like. I probably like it because it was given by Dr. Brene Brown. And Brene defines connection as this. She says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When people feel seen, heard, and valued. When they can give and receive without judgment. And when they derive sustenance and strength from relationship. Isn't that a great definition? When you derive sustenance and strength from a relationship, that's connection. When people feel seen and heard and valued, that's connection. Here's something psychologists, neurobiologists, and ancient spiritually enlightened Jewish sages all agree on. Are you ready? Human beings are designed for connection. Human beings are designed for connection. Psychologists, neurobiologists, and ancient spiritually enlightened Jewish sages all agree. Now, whether that design comes through a meticulous intent of a divine designer, or whether it's through billions and millions of years of adaptation, or some mysterious cocktail of both, human beings are designed for connection. For example, the opening chapters of Genesis, they talk about how the Israelites' God, Yahweh, created everything in the cosmos and then put extra special care into humans. Remember this story? In fact, these ancient Jewish thinkers even taught that humans were created in the image of God, imago Dei, the image of God. And for them, these ancient Jewish spiritually enlightened thinkers, they imagined that somehow God represented a plurality, a mysterious community, all wrapped up into this singular self of God. Now today, Christians, we have a doctrine for that. We call it the Trinity, which has been our way to try and name how at the center of everything, the source of all, there is relationship. The very makeup, you could say, of the one in whom we live and move and have our being is community, interaction, movement, relational energy, or in a word, connection. Genesis 1, 26, 27. Then God said, let us, the divine community that somehow is mysteriously in existence, let us make humanity in our image. And so in the divine image, God created them. Male and female, God created them. And as if that right there weren't enough to convey that humans are created within a context of relational connection, in the image of a divine plurality, in our image, God says, the story keeps going and insists. And I love this part of the story. The story insists that against this bright and glorious backdrop of a good creation stood one thing that God declared was not good. If you've ever read the story, maybe you notice how sentence after sentence after sentence, the authors of Genesis describe how God created the heavens and the earth and the sun and the moon and the trees and the stars and the animals and the plants, and all of it was good, good, good. And then this divine scratching of the record as the flow of goodness screeches to a halt. The moment that God created just one solitary person. Just one person was enough for God to then bear witness to the idea that loneliness, this is not good for the human spirit. Genesis 2:18, it is not good, God says, for human to be alone. The implication here, at least according to those who contributed to these creation stories, which, by the way, I would include God as one of the co-authors, but that's just me. The implication here is that even God knows that God alone is not enough for humans to thrive. Did you catch that? Even God knows that God alone is not enough for humans to thrive. I was doing a workshop a couple weeks ago with a couple hundred people from a particular denomination, and I was talking about some of the work I do around the clobber passages, and someone asked a question about, because I argued that forcing LGBTQ people into a life of celibacy as some sort of good option for them is basically asking them to go against the very flow of God's creative story. Like, you have to be alone. And one person asked, but isn't it enough to just be with us and God? And I'm like, no, I quite literally just said that. No, it's not. Like, that is what your creation story as a Christian says. God is aware that just God is not enough. We need other humans in our life. We do. We need other humans in our life. We have research in the field of psychology that illuminates some of the negative impacts that loneliness has on human beings. And I think in the last year, this has come to the forefront in many ways in many of our lives, either in very explicit ways or just sort of in felt implicit ways. But we know that there's a deep negative impact on our well-being from loneliness. It affects our mental well-being with increased feelings of anxiety and depression and feeling abandoned and lost. It also affects our physical well-being, as loneliness is linked as a risk factor for heart disease and type 2 diabetes and arthritis and Alzheimer's. And we know that chronic loneliness can trigger adverse physiological responses like increased production of stress hormones, hindering our ability to sleep and weakening our immune system. All of this can be linked to loneliness from like a physical, biological level. And then listen to this from Dan Siegel, the founder and the director of the Mindfulness Awareness Research Center, who works in the field of interpersonal neurobiology, which I guarantee when he was 5 years old and someone asked him, what do you want to do when you grow up? He said, interpersonal neurobiology. Dan talks about how our ancestors moved from these individual beings. You can imagine the early sapient tribes primarily being about individual beings, but this movement into seeing the advantage of being in community, larger community, and how that movement contributed to the evolution of our species. Dan writes this. Dan says, that's likely how our relationships within groups allowed us not only to survive, but ultimately to thrive. Moving beyond that important parent-child relationship of our mammalian history, this human feature of cooperation, such as the move to have a cooperative community that helped to raise our children, this propelled our need for complex communication and complex brain architecture into fast forward. Like our brains begin to adapt and grow and expand as we moved from just individual single people into larger and larger groups and tribes. And the result, Dan says, is there's a centrality of relationships in human life. The centrality of relationships in human life. And this week, as I was thinking about this, I was just struck by all the many ways that our modern science is affirming and confirming what ancient mystics discovered many, many moons ago, which is that it's not good for us to be alone. On a biological level, on a mental and emotional level, and on a soul level. Connection with others is central to our well-being. When we are starved of genuine connection with others, our souls suffer. And loneliness is the unique cry that our soul offers us to alert us of this particular soul sickness. So then what do we do about it? Especially in year 2 of a pandemic. What do we do about it? Well, there's not any easy answers. There's not. That's obvious. But I have a few thoughts, and I'll close with just a few thoughts that I have. And the first is this. Number one, it's easy. Number one, name it. Name it. Like actually say it out loud to yourself. Say out loud, human connection matters, and I have a lack of it right now because I feel lonely. What if you were to just say that out loud? By the way, even if there's another person in the room, because some of you are watching with people, even just being in the same space with one other or two other humans for a whole year, you can be surrounded by people, by the way, and still feel lonely. I feel lonely. I feel disconnected from others. Name it. Just this act, not a simple act, because for many of us saying something like this out loud, to admit a feeling that we're having that isn't all unicorns and rainbows, like just to admit that sometimes for many of us is far from simple. But just this act can be a huge step forward. To just name it. I feel lonely. I feel disconnected. Because you know this. We know this. That the things that we don't name, the things that we try and ignore or repress, they don't go away. In fact, they just often grow more powerful and more painful the longer they go unnamed. And then number 2, after you've named it, share it. Tell someone. Tell someone. Again, this step here is going to be harder for some people than others. I hear you. But here's something that I've discovered over the last several years, that in order for us to truly connect with other people, to have this connection that is so vital to our well-being, we have to open ourselves up. We have to do this. We have to let other people see us, the true us, not the many masks we wear or the roles that we perform. Opening up and saying something like, hey, can I tell you, I feel lonely? That's a way of making ourselves knowable to others. Without this kind of opening up, we can be surrounded by people, whether it's online or even in real life, or maybe you could think about in past contexts or future contexts, we could be surrounded by people, but if we don't do this move, then we can still feel very, very alone. And one of the reasons is because we're keeping ourselves hidden, protected. We aren't letting other people see us. So we name it to ourselves. Then we pick someone and we share it with, or maybe a small group of people and we share it with, hey, guys, I feel lonely. And then number 3, we make a plan. Now, I know that can sound all at once like overly simplistic and obnoxiously like, oh, here's the 5-step program to win at life. I get it. But for reals, the point here is simply that if nothing changes, then nothing changes. If you're starved for connection and you've been able to name it to yourself and then bravely open up to someone else, that's great. But now you gotta do something. You gotta take some responsibility, some ownership. You gotta practice the connecting, which again is another layer of vulnerability. I get it. I know. But make a plan. Like you could just start a book club. Look, I know how we're just like over Zoom these days, and it feels very frustrated to think about one more Zoom group. I get it. And also, everybody can do it right now. Like we have the know-how and the technology. So maybe you do just grab a few friends this week, or you post in the sanctuary, hey, I've really been wanting to read this book. Anyone want to join me for the next few weeks together? Let's just meet. And God, you could do it at 2:00 in the afternoon. I don't know, figure out what works best for you. It doesn't need to be a super formal thing, but just make a plan. Like, hey, anybody want to read this book with me? Let's meet Mondays at 1 p.m. on Zoom. Show up. Let's talk about this book. Doesn't have to be much. Doesn't have to be much. Or maybe you can just do it through email. Okay, I don't want to do the Zoom, but get a little email group or a Facebook group or some. Do you get what I mean? Like just make some plan. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. And I'll also add to this, in addition to planning for it, is showing up is really, really important here. Showing up meaning just consistency. And I don't necessarily mean here at Virtual Church, although that is not nothing. This is not nothing, by the way. This is a type of connection. For those who show up here regularly and interact with us in the comments and the collective conversation and sort of just show up, like this is a type of connection. I know it's not everything, but it's something. And it's been good. And I often think about, Kate and I talk about how in our like 2 decades of being in full-time ministry, how common it is for people in the church world, and maybe this is true in non-church context, but I don't know, my whole life has been church context, but how common it is for people to express it, like, I don't feel like I'm really connecting with people. I don't feel like I'm really building community or relationships with folks. And then at the same time, they also acknowledge that they really only show up to church like once every 6 weeks. Like that story is so common. And it's just fascinating to me because it's like we know that if you just lift weights once every 5 weeks, you're not going to build any muscle. Like that's obvious, right? And we know that. Or if we only brush our teeth once a month, that's not going to lead to great dental hygiene. But somehow we find ourselves surprised that such limited and inconsistent attempts to build connection with others yields such limited results. So I guess my point is, can you imagine starting to take steps towards regular connection of showing up with other people in some way? It's not going to just happen. It's not going to just happen. But this leads me to number 4. Consider giving if you're not getting connection. Consider giving connection if you're not getting it. And what I mean is this. Maybe you're listening to this or the thoughts come into your mind that you've been feeling lonely and disconnected, and maybe you've tried opening yourself up to others. Maybe you've tried starting a book club or something like that, or you've tried a regular sort of connection, or maybe you've posted in our Sojourn Sanctuary and you've just gotten crickets back. And look, I know, I can suck. I can feel like, oh man, I'm taking this brave step, I'm opening myself up, I'm trying to connect with people out there, and hello. So maybe then the invitation is maybe you give away connection as opposed to trying to get it for a season. Maybe the invitation for you is to start just giving the connection away. Maybe you make it a point. For example, I'm just off the cuff here, it's on my script. Maybe you just make a point to like be the first person to comment on posts in our sanctuary. Make a game of it. Try to game the system. Be like, I'm going to comment on everything that shows up in the sanctuary for just maybe a week. Or maybe make a game out of showing up to these live stream services and you hunt for people to interact with. Oh, there's that person. I remember that person's name. I'm going to say hi to them. I'm going to ask them a question. I'm going to give connection away. Like, what if your mission was to make other people feel connected and seen? Even if you yourself are starving for it. What if your mission is to make other people feel connected and seen? Can I tell you, not only is that a great service to others, it is. It really is. We need more of you out there. But here's the secret. It actually helps you feel more connected too. Human connection is pretty cool like that. So name it, share it, plan for it, give it if you're not getting it. And then finally, I'll just normalize this. Remind yourself that this is hard. This stuff is hard. Just because the need for human connection is like coded into our biology, or you could even say written on our hearts by our Creator, does not mean that it's easy. These are not the same thing. A thing that is natural is not always easy. In fact, I'd argue that human relationships and creating and maintaining genuine connection with others, it might actually be one of life's most challenging endeavors. Most crucial and important to our well-being, yep, and most challenging. It's super easy to get discouraged. It's very common to have relationships end. It's pretty standard to struggle to connect with others. That's normal. Yeah, some people might be more natural at it, but that doesn't mean it's not hard for all of us. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
That was fun. I haven't done that yet in a while. It works. And let me close by just going back to Brené's definition of connection. I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from their relationship. And for me, the counterfactual to that is when you are lacking sustenance and strength. Y'all, are you lacking sustenance and strength? I would imagine so, for many reasons. And I bet a big contributor of that is because how disconnected many of us might be feeling right now. You're not alone. So in those moments when you don't feel seen or heard or valued, I suggest to you that it is the result of not being connected with other humans. And that you're experiencing is the, quote, not goodness of being alone. So may we as a community be people that create spaces for connection, as imperfect as they be. May we be people who create spaces for connection. May we be people who seek out connection with others with courage and with patience. And may we be people who let others see us, the real us, as best as we can, as we practice the compassion that it takes to see others as well. I love you. Amen.
Hi, we're back for
We're back.
communion. And I want to hop onto your spiritual nugget and say that even though the comments are facing you now, I doubt that you could track all that
Yeah, I
while you
wasn't
were
tracking.
giving it. Our people are incredible, and I named this in the comments, but I just want to name it out loud as well, that watching you all in real time take the steps that Colt was going through and name your loneliness bravely to each other and then hop on underneath each other and see each other had me all a wreck. You're so beautiful. And I just wanted to name that. I mean, I don't have anything deeper to say about it, but watching that happen in real time, watching y'all hold each other and name your truth, and you're gorgeous. I love you. I see you. This has been a hard year. Thanks for being there for each other through it. And we're here for you. And I know it might feel like we're a million miles away, but we're right here. And we're with you, and we got you. Love y'all. Also, we get to eat Ben's sticky date pudding for communion, so I'm sorry, y'all. I
This
apologize
is
from the
exciting.
bottom of my heart. I'm deeply sorry that you don't get to partake in this.
I'll put the recipe in the Sojourn Sanctuary.
Oh, that's fun. That's a good idea.
Oh
Sort of
my
a classic
God.
Australian thing.
So,
Classic dessert, and the dates are from Indio, California, which is the date capital of the world. I picked up.
It's year 2, so we need a new recipe other than sourdough starters. So
Oh,
I think
that's
sticky
fair.
toffee pudding is great.
sticky date pudding. Bridget's like, I was curious what that was. I was too. Kate showed up with it. I'm like, why does this look like a tiny animal brain? But it's not. Or a medium-sized animal brain. I guess tiny animal brain would be
There's
really small.
nothing about this that looks animal brain
Look.
to me.
You had context for it. I had no context for it. It's just like, you know the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom where they eat the monkey brains? That's the scene that came to mind. Okay.
Oh my God.
So this communion has just become a time to just enjoy.
Holly, it's a
Let us know what
cousin
you're
of sticky
using
toffee
for
pudding.
your bread and your cup. One of the things we've tried to do through virtual church is to establish that, if nothing else, communion is kind of like this ritual of resistance where we do this thing of connection together, and yet we do it in our own way, because the old way was all about it was tied to, I don't know, control and tied to old narratives that we just don't buy into anymore. So, Kathy Kate's
And
just gonna
also
snack. So
sticky date pudding.
take what you have today. Susan's got pretzel and Dr. Pepper.
Sorry you don't have this.
Oh, it's warm.
Yeah, Ben went
Oh,
and
it's so
warmed it
good.
up just in time. Like he asked me how long your spiritual nugget was and warmed it up so that it would be ready for. Isn't he just the best? It's so good, huh? Sorry that I'm eating more of it than you are.
Oh, it's really good.
There's the benefit of not caring that people are watching
Bridget's
me
got
eat
coffee
right now.
and banana. Chocolate and coffee. We got Jeb.
I really like what communion has become. I'm never going back.
Korean fried chicken with devil garlic sauce and sweet tea. I'm coming over, Bill.
Wait.
Oh my god, I want that!
Wait, who had that? Oh, Bill. Korean fried chicken. And
Can we get Korean fried
take
chicken?
your-
Oh, can we get fried chicken on the way home?
we can get whatever you want. Take your cup. And take.
Oh, drinking wet.
We're gonna do
Okay,
one.
but also sticky date pudding.
We're gonna do one more song together, and then we'll do our benediction. So glad you're with us.
I'll finish up his comment here in a second.
Evan
Second song, don't worry.
feels real validated though
I'm answering Jesse's comment.
Jesse, he leads with 4 on the Yeti.
I lead with 4, but I often swing into 2 territory when I just need connection.
Affirmation. To feel loved.
All right, this is our last song. This is we sang this throughout February, Black History Month, and it's a song by Hosier called Nina Cried Power featuring Mavis Staples.
It's not the waking, it's the rising. It is the grounding of a foot uncompromising. It's not forgoing of the light. It's not the opening of eyes. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the shade, we should be past it. It's the light and it's the obstacle that casts it. It's the heat that drives the light. It's the fire it ignites. It's not the waking, it's the rising. It's not the song, it is the singing. It is the heaven of the human spirit ringing. It is the bringing of the light. It is the bearing of the right. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry power, 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 Lord. Nina cried power, Billy cried power, Mavis cried power. And I could cry power, 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 Lord. Curtis cried power, Patty cried power, Nina cried power. It's not the wall, but what's behind it. Or the fear of fellow man is mere assignment. And everything that we're denied by keeping the divide. It's not the waking, it's the rising. And I could cry power, 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 Lord. Nina cried power, Lennon cried power, James Brown cried power. And I could cry power, 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 Lord. Billy cried power, Joni cried power, Nina cried power. And I could cry power. Power has been cried by those stronger than me. Straight into the face, tells you rattle your chains if you love being free. love being free.
You guys were a little
job.
late. If you can come in
job.
earlier next time, that would be
Oh, it's already on the screen. Great.
Great.
Those
I
sweatshirts.
tried to move out of your way and did the opposite. I'm so
The
bad at it.
sweatshirts are
Oh,
available.
that's less intrusive.
These are sweatshirts that say "It All Belongs" on it, and they
weird.
come in multiple different colors and different sizes, and they're available now at Ben Grace's Etsy shop.
Why not? Why not?
I think because it's more convenient than setting up our own.
Super more
It does
convenient than
take
setting up our
several
own.
days.
Yep. If you're in the Sojourn Sanctuary, there's links there for that to easily go get that. But those are super fun. And we've seen a couple people post that they've got them and they're wearing them, so that's fun.
Yeah.
So
Mercy's got it. Susan's got
if you have yours, post a photo so we know what color you got.
Yeah, and we're doing our best to keep them in as many colors and sizes as possible, but we aren't the manufacturer. So sometimes the sizes will go out in certain colors. Hopefully there's another one of the colors that you like, or just wait a minute and they tend to come back. So
I also do. I think that I saw that post in the sanctuary about someone who couldn't find the size in their color. There is another provider that I can kind of order them from, so I can search that. If you're actually having trouble finding the color you want in the size, put it in the sanctuary, and I will do the digging around for you.
That's
wow,
very-
a personal shopper.
Will you open up Safari and grab the link and copy it and then?
I can probably do it on my phone.
Oh yeah. So Ben, because Michelle Nichols said, can you post a link? Ben will drop a link here in the comment section on the Facebooks, Michelle, since that's what you're
Doing a
on.
better job than I am, not being too tall for
Love it.
Yeah, but look how I have to do it.
I can do that too.
All right.
There you
Are there any other?
Everybody should wear their sweatshirts on Easter. I like
go. Yeah, an
cool
Easter
plan.
uniform.
Easter unicorn.
Not cultish at all.
No. That'll get all those people who say those things. We'll get them.
It'll get them.
Yep.
Thanks for
We
being-
always talk about what numbers we are, and we all wear the same sweatshirt. We're totally a cult.
They just call me free.
We don't stamp you or brand you.
Get the link in there.
Thank
I
you
did.
for not
Yep.
branding
Awesome.
me.
Sequin sweatshirts next to it.
Bridget also popped in the actual.
Oh, great. Thank you,
the
Bridget.
actual- 'cause I just
The actual.
popped the
All right. So the link is there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Well done, everybody.
Sequins sweatshirts. All right.
Oh.
I think.
For the record,
I'm
you
gonna
can-
bow out on that one.
We
I don't
could
do
we could have a bedazzle your own sweatshirt competition.
Matthew, I
For
do.
Easter, you have to decorate.
Yeah,
your sweatshirt.
whoever decorates their sweatshirt,
Ooh,
Most-
rhinestone them.
you're gonna stone it. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it.
we're reworking what
So we're just in
stoning
the
means.
early brainstorm
Actually,
session. This is good. I like this.
Oh my green.
It's fun.
This has devolved.
I really
does.
love these,
This is
like,
still church.
these last few minutes of what nothing's happening, but we just keep sitting here.
You don't wanna
saying
go
we're gonna-
yet.
Yeah, I like it.
But also, we're hungry.
Yeah, I want fried chicken.
We know.
Bill Pitts, we're coming over.
Florida, in Florida, or is that just Patty?
No, they're in San Diego.
Yeah, they're not far.
I thought they posted they were in Jacksonville, Florida
they
this
have
week.
Oh, I don't
Maybe
know.
this week. I don't know. Pitts, did you travel? What was I gonna say? I had a thing to say. Oh yeah, just if any of you do want to start any groups, book clubs, or anything, utilize our sanctuary, recruit people. Go for it. Like you don't need to wait for me or for Kate or for someone else to get a group going. You can do it.
And we
Be your
promise to
own
do small
bastard.
groups again soon. It's
Yeah.
on our it's on our
And
list.
that too. Both hands.
Yeah. This has devolved. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
You're not wrong.
This
Okay.
Benediction.
Yeah. I think we're just
Let's
like
do-
we started
we do
year
like a
2
cuddle?
of this.
Let's do
and it
cuddle
just,
huddle
there's
for
feels.
benediction.
Yeah,
I have
cuddle
feels
huddle.
around this.
Come on in. There we go.
We can see the comments here, so we're gonna wait for you all to lead us. So
Oh,
somebody lead us with the bravery,
That
and
means I'm
somebody
going
lead
to be
us with
squishing
kindness.
Ben's head
For
for
so
so
long.
long.
Yeah,
So
so
we're
much
waiting
for
for
20 seconds.
Or at least a 20-second delay before
See,
somebody
Ben
leads
knew
us.
where the pits were.
Yeah.
Don't argue with
And,
Ben.
What's this sanctuary, Melissa?
There it is.
It's, oh,
Melissa.
wait. Should we put it on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise
Oh.
Because you're a child of God. We're really
Now
good
we
at
have to
this.
wait for the next
No,
14
wait,
seconds.
no.
This
Oh,
makes it
no.
weird.
This is gonna be all of the breaks.
Oh,
now.
no.
Because you're a child of God.
Oh,
Because you're a child of
Oh,
God.
there it is.
And because you're a child of
Raina.
God.
Oh, there we go.
Because so is everyone else.
Woo!
Okay. By the way, to answer your question, Melissa Meyer, the sanctuary, go to sojournsanctuary.com. Sojournsanctuary.com. It'll take you right to a private Facebook group called the Sojourn Sanctuary, and it's just a way for our church to have closed off conversations and all that. So it's not public. Sojournsanctuary.com.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. Love you. Bye.